Hey there, Toby. Hope you're having a great day today. Shoot video lesson. Three things I want to talk about. I'll go down the list. If you have any questions at the end or want me to look at anything, feel free to shoot a message on over and I'll do my best to answer. Cool, let's get to it. So I was just looking at your text and it said that that you're doing really well with the bends, that you're getting, they're setting cleaner now when you, I guess I'm assuming, I think when you said in the text, when you release the bend, you're not getting as much noise from the other strings coming back down, so that's good. I'd like to see if you get a chance to send a video overview playing some bends. That way I can kind of see if there's anything else going on in there. But I'll also assume that from the text everything is going smoothly with that. The next thing I want to give you is for bends, or ghost bends, or pre-bends. I've heard them called both. What that means is I'm not going to bend too hard on this guitar right here, so I'm going to do half-step bends because there's a floating bridge right back here. It was never really meant to do string bending. So if I bend this too hard, this bridge will go up here like this because it's not screwed down to the guitar. So what I'll do is I'll go 15 here. I'll bend the string first and then release the bend. So the same technique as before. I push up, so that hasn't changed. My thumb's over the top, anchoring or giving me leverage. I bend the string up and then I hit the string and let the note come back down. You want the note to ring through the entire release, so you don't want it to go and then it stops before you get to the bottom. You bend up, hit the string. And what I do to get rid of that noise is I'll rest my hand on the strings. So I'm actually putting my hand here on the strings. And when I'm playing, like right here, my hand is probably covering up the bottom 4 strings right here. So I have my hand lightly touching the strings, bend the string up, give it a little bit of room right here, and I hit it. And as I come down, these are muting the other strings so they don't sound, right? Start with this. So what you do is you want the bend to be as accurate as the pre-bend to be as accurate as the bend itself. So I would even put that drone on and see if you can see if you can find like where it is. Eventually you'll get good enough at it that you'll like kind of know how far a whole step bend feels, right? And you won't need the drone tone so much anymore. But at the beginning, I highly recommend using that drone tone. That way you know you're hitting the right note and releasing down. All right, so work on that for me. Next thing is, oh, and I think you also said too that fire was looking good as well. So as soon as you're back in again, I'll start writing out, we'll start working on the actual solo itself. It's a fun one. And actually, I think we might have done that last time. Remind me if I gave you the solo for fire, or at least part of it. I know I gave it to somebody last week. I can't remember if it was you. Anyway, review the partial bar shapes on the 3-5-24 handout. Those are these guys right here. You have A5, then E5, G5, and then D5, right? So remember, just as a review, pyramid finger, bring it to the fretboard. You're always pointing at yourself, right? I got a steep pyramid here, that way I'm not doing this. I'm not down here like this. I am up higher on the back of the neck, pointing back at myself, right? So practice. I would practice a whole lot of doing not only just the bar ones, because those seem tricky as it is, but going from G to D5. So it's G5 to D5. That's in a ton of stuff. So it is tricky because all this stuff is moving around over here. These actually aren't that bad because it's just one finger, right? But going from here to here can be tricky. The reason why is keeping that ring finger down. So for the G chord here, pivot off the ring finger, and then make sure to mute that first string on the D5 with the flush of your ring finger. G5, D5. What we're looking for is making sure that we keep that ring finger in place. Now, what does that all add up to? From the last lesson that we had, last video lesson that we had, we were doing this bar chord stretch right here. It's this bar chord primer, this power chord stretch going from here. Make sure you keep that ring finger nice and tall for this one right here. Oops, back here. Right? So everything moves from the ring finger. Everything expands out from here as much as you can, right? Sometimes if you do a far stretch, sometimes you kind of have to move a little bit, but try to keep that ring finger stable for all these stretches here. Now, what does this all add up to is our next project, which is Highway to Hell. So what you have there, 3 A5 power chords. 1, 2, 3, right? He could have just easily done this, but I think this bites a bit more, right? The strings have a different timbre or tone to them. And then switches into that power chord, or the bar chord primer, strengthening that first finger right there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. Now, practice that for me. Why am I making such a big deal about the G to D switch? If you look at the chorus of the song, A, D, D, D. It's a quick switch in there. That's the challenge of this tune. A, D, 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 off, G, D, right? So that's why I want you to practice that G5 to D5 switch a bunch this week, because whenever I teach the song, that's the trickiest part of probably the whole song right there, other than the solo, which I usually save for later on down the road, because there's a lot of fancy blues bending and stuff like that in there. Cool, man. So work on that for me. Like I said, I think you said in the text you're gonna send over a video of you playing Fire. I'd love to see it. And anything else you'd like to show me. And if not, I will see you same time next time. Take care.